So I'm going to talk a little bit about balance, doubts, and like blockers. And I want to speak about, I'm going to do, next video is going to be about Elul, but before that, I want to talk a little bit about getting into the spirit. So Rosh Chodesh Elul. So I mentioned in previous videos that, this time of year is like a preparation kind of feeling. Like, it isn't necessarily that we're preparing for something. We're just learning about preparation. We're learning about getting ourselves ready. We're learning about repentance, about letting go of our blockages. And not just for our own sake, but for the sake of the world. Like when we're full and satisfied and when we're fulfilled and we don't feel empty, we are less of a toll on the others that we interact with in our life and in the world. So we can be more of a giver rather than a taker. So let's talk. So first of all, I'm going to just go deep. Like let's do a practice. My practice for me now is what feels like my marriage blockers. And I'm not saying these are actually blocking me from getting married. There are people in any of these situations that could be married. But I'm talking about to forgive myself for thinking that that's how it works. So the facial and body here, you don't see it. It's like I'm saying facial here, but I grow hairs over here and over here. And my mind has made up some interesting information that, I would have a unibrow if I didn't adjust it. And my arms are hairy. That's paint, that's not hair. But my arms are hairy. My calves are hairy. My calves in the front are hairy, like my shins. My upper groin area near my groin, my upper legs, my back of my thighs, my navel, my armpits. It's not like I'm growing, and even a few hairs over here, a few hairs on my chest. Like I think you could even see, like over there, I think you could see a few. So basically, I grow this hair. It takes maintenance to remove it, time, sometimes money, even pain. And thinking of how, a little on the neck, the pelvis, the armpits, some areas could be trimmed. Like, going back for a second. The legs, like really in the bottom half is mostly more than, or like the areas I mentioned, but the bottom half, like the calves, the shins of them, even on the toes a little, is like my arms. Like for some reason, I grow more here over here, my upper arm barely any. And same with my front end of my thighs, like the bottom part much more. And even on my feet a little bit, like on the top of the foot. I'm thinking of like what I said, the mustache, the chin, and a little on the neck. It seems like it grew after I was intimate with men. First just sleeping with a man, and then being around like the testosterone while I'm asleep, and then having sex. And I said, pelvis, armpits, they could be trimmed, but still there's a lot of hair to remove. Then I have 12 tattoos, but it could really be 12 to 14, because some of them were doubled, not like I got like, one, it's one big, it's like two pieces of one, or I got a few together. Some of them are very not Jewish symbols, including one mantra that I have to stretch a lot to make it feel like it's okay to be Jewish and it's not like idol worship or something. I have a lot of shyness when it comes to like bathroom pooping stuff, and then the overeating, and it's probably related somehow. Like I really want my own bathroom all the time. Like I've lived with men, like I've had roommates, and also I've been in a relationship where we shared a bathroom, and even at times I felt so brave I would go in the bathroom and poop while the person was in the shower. And I learned later that it's not actually according to the tradition of what the rabbi said is good for Jewish people to do stuff like that. You should keep it very private, very not. I can't tell if it's raining. Basically, you shouldn't poop with anyone there. Shouldn't talk with people in the bathroom. It should be a private thing. You should even bury it if you're out in the wilderness. Point is that I just felt like, what will I do if I need to go to the bathroom, and if there's noises or it smells, and also that I was at risk. I was high risk sexually. I was overexposed when I was having relations. I could get women's disease, a virus, because I was unprotected, and I actually got HPV. I learned later 3 out of 4 adults in the USA have gotten it, although they now have HPV vaccine. Nowadays, people could be immune. I was born at a different time. I didn't know about that, and they would have probably not given it to me in the Jewish circles. Anyway, they don't do anything to encourage sex education or any premarital sex. So let's talk about doubts. I really felt in this by the way, I wrote this a while ago, between 6 months to a year ago, I really let myself go, stopped exercising and eating properly, imbalance in order to compensate for grief, lack of affection, not feeling desirable, feeling like I don't fit in, feeling like all the education, investment, experience that I have don't amount to anything tangible or relevant. So much shame about past choices, like mentioning the tattoos and risky sex that led to exposure, what could cause a woman's disease of cervical cancer, exposure to male hormones that seem to cause, because of intimacy, excess hair, like I mentioned, on the groin, bottom half of the legs, feet, armpits, inner thighs, the arms, navel, and a lot of insecurity about what I have to offer being worth any money. Like, people want, let's say someone would buy a maid to clean and to cook for them, and I'm like, am I a wife? Am I worth it? Like, am I able to compete with the women that are, like, good at cooking and cleaning? And not even competing, that's not what it is. It's about being worth my value. Like, a deep fear that my body has, like, smells and residues that are extra animalistic or exclude me from being clean. Except right after I shower, including how often I leak drips of urine. And I want to say again, these are mental things. This is something I know from being in the world, that a lot of women have similar things. That my death as a sacrifice might be worth more than my life. Am I sacrificing my potential husband and our potential offspring is what is wanted by my Creator? I'm not saying it's true. Remember, this is a category of doubts. And finally, that there's not really a personal God who's loving, caring. It's just a peer pressure, brainwashing product of existential loneliness, of feeling purposeless or hopeless, needing an other, like a God. Too much of a sense of personal power, like coping with that the imagination hijacks into, like, having a delusion of a God. And then let's talk about repentance and balance. So balance, I used to go to this group called Interplay. We met once a week. And we talked a lot about the ability to be sensitive. And in order to perceive small changes for balance, how it requires a lot of relaxation. We have to be attuned and chill. The stress system can't be loud. We have to release all excess tension and be able to adapt. I love the word pivot. We have to be able to pivot, and we have to be able to we're recalibrating and having to change roles really quickly, so that I may need a little bit of buffers for the transition. And talking about how, like, I feel like my right foot teaches me sometimes about that I might be walking the wrong way, or maybe I'm finally healing the original pain in that area. I remember when it first started hurting really bad, I was walking to meet a man who I didn't feel really loved me, and I felt he was using me. He was abusive. He was on drugs. I felt pressure to lose my virginity. I just wanted a friend, really. And so here we're talking about balancing grief and joy, truth and flow, present focus, future planning, safety and structure. And really, when we're healing our doubts, the fact that I could have these kind of thoughts about myself, that I'm a loser if I believe in God, basically, that I would be better off dead. Like, I'm translating this into simple words, that being hairy, having sometimes a little pee comes out, or that I got HPV. The fact that I think that I'm not worthy of love, or I shouldn't have a husband, or that that I got HPV or have tattoos. I mean, there's repentance here, obviously, right? Like, for the sex, for the tattoos, for not exercising enough, for letting the body go till I feel really undesirable, for measuring myself only in what I could do that's productive rather than my presence and my aura. Let's talk about repentance, teshuva. It's all about, like, techniques that bring us to that place. So it's not like something that we could do if we don't mean it. It has to be real. So let's start from the beginning. We have to say sorry. We have to be able to say sorry. We have to be able to ask for forgiveness. We have to be able to demonstrate that we have a real sadness, that we hurt or brought the other to sin. Like, we hurt the other, or we brought someone to sin, or we were brought to sin. We need to plead with the Creator with a sincere, broken heart, honestly, earnestly wanting to be transformed into someone who would never do it intentionally, knowledgeably again. Like, basically, with our knowledge now, we were transformed. We'll never go back. Like, I won't get tattoos again. I won't have sex with someone I don't want to, or is not my husband. I won't take my life for granted. There was something else, wasn't there? Oh, that I won't tell myself that the here makes me unlovable or undesirable. Or that I won't turn to God when I need God the most. When I feel lonely is when I need God. When I feel like, purposeless or hopeless, or like I need someone else, or I don't have a sense of hijackness, that's when I need God the most, rather than to shame myself out of it. So let's continue. Some techniques in Judaism is to say Tehillim, Psalms, with the intention for healing and redemption, but not just for me, but for anyone who was involved, anyone who I had sex with, who I might have exposed to HPV, anyone who I influenced to get tattoos, anyone who I was self-conscious or defensive because I felt that they were going to judge me about the hair, anyone who I made them wait, because, I remember a lot of times people waiting for me to get ready, and it was just to remove all the hair. Anyone who I might have judged for being hairy because I didn't let myself at that time be hairy, I tried to remove it all the time. Then, of course, we have fasting or afflicting ourselves, and this is a way to get rid of ego and pride. Could remove jewelry, don't seek honor, or argue a cause, like just be more passive, let others win. We could connect with someone who feels holy, like a tzaddik. That's a great way. A lot of people give charity. I really like this one, charity with money, our time, our energy, or items. And finally, there's mikvah. Mikvah is to go and immerse in the water. People do this before the Yom Kippur. Men do it pretty often. Women do it after a period to be intimate with their husband. There's many times that we do it. And it's not a baptism. It's like an immersion. It's ritually to become sanctifiable again. And so there's other rituals also described in the Torah that could be like a cleansing experience for the body and soul. I'll stop here, and I look forward to the next video, the topic for Rosh Chodesh Elul. Bye now.